welcome to Rockamaw's Dragon Tail News. Kids are number one. My name is Neha from Miss Craddock's 4th grade class.
And I'm his champ from Miss Brand's class. Please stand for United States pledge. Here are our words of wisdom.
Good morning, Rockama. I'm Mariana from Mrs. Craddock's 4th grade class. And I'm Grace from Miss Brand's 4th grade class. With a few words of wisdom. Our core value is courage. Having courage can help us to perceive against challenges, and the process it raises to our self. When we feel good about ourselves and see that we have the personal power to make courageous choices, we are most likely to lead personally satisfying and successful lives. With something to think about, I'm Mariana. And I'm Grace. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours now. Back to our anchors.
Here's today's lunch menu.
Today's lunch is yogurt combo, egg bento box, beef, bean, and cheese nachos, or bean and cheese nachos, served with salsa and a serving fruit. Now back to our anchors.
Here's today's weather.
Good morning, Rockabouts. Today will be a high of 48 and a low of 35. It will be cloudy. Now back to.
Here's today's Dragon Ticket winners.
Good morning. Congratulations to all our Dragon Ticket winners. If you are a winner, please come down to the Makerspace near the Quest Room and the library. Dylan B. in Mrs. Craddock's class, Oliver R. in Mrs. Buzzard's class, Colin in Buzzard's class, Luke in Walther's class, Colson in Mrs. Weiss' class, Ava in Lavender's class, Joseph in Mrs. Hawsey's class, Luca in Turner's class, Reed in Mrs. Crocker's class, Ben in Mrs. Clardy's class, Owen in Mrs. Clardy's class, Kai in Mrs. Fleming's class, Claire in Mrs. Murphy's class, Andre in Mrs. Hayden's class, Samar in Mrs. Walther's class, Ellie in Mrs. Crocker's class, Landon in Mrs. Clardy's class, Avery in Mrs. Turner's class, Lucas in Mrs. Granquist's class, and Sullivan in Mrs. Klepico's class. Congratulations. Come down to the 1st grade Makerspace.
Here's today's Out of the Day.
Would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
Good morning, Rockin' My name's Phil Hardigan, and I'm Addie and Charlie's dad. And I'm a full-time football and lacrosse Dragon coach and a part-time financial advisor.
Would you like to say hi to your class?
Hi, Mrs. Hawsey's class.
Hi, Mrs. McTie's class. Now back to our anchors.
That's all for today on Dragon Tail. Remember, there is no place like Rock'n'Ball.